We can talk about pickleball. We can talk about. My God.
You want to talk about pickleball? Do you play?
I do, but
come on.
Yeah, I love it.
What?
I play all time.
Oh, my God. I thought we were just going to talk about your new single, and now we're going to have to dig into pickleball. So I'm a tennis player.
Are you?
My kids both played pretty high-level competitive tennis. My wife's played tennis her whole life. I didn't start playing until I met her, and that was 20-plus years ago. So I've been playing tennis for 20 years.
You're probably good at pickleball.
I'm not. I've never
You're
played
my new
pickleball.
partner.
I will. My wife and I kind of have this pact that we've made that we'll never play.
Oh.
We
because it's kind of lame, or why?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit. It's kind of lame.
What am I supposed to do?
No, look, it's not lame. People should be moving. Get out there and move and do all of that because that's really, really good for you.
I agree.
But I think it's because of how seriously people are taking it.
It's too serious.
They take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And they, pickleballers, the cult of pickleball, I think they think they're on equal footing with tennis. Right?
It's not the same.
It's not. It's just not the same. It's due respect, even to the people who are there's a different level of skill required. And you're like,
I agree.
You've never played pickleball. How would you know? But there's a different level of skill required because I've also played table tennis and I'm pretty good at tennis. So I understand that you do have to move and there's a doubles thing and it's quick and you got to be, have fast reactions and all that.
It's way different.
I've watched people play pickleball.
Yeah.
I've heard them play pickleball because it's loud, but I've watched people play pickleball. I don't want to take any joy away from people who are moving because you got to move to stay alive. As my dad says, motion is lotion.
That's true.
For your body. So you got to keep doing it. So you are a pickleballer.
Well, there's a court. We're in your office. We're in your studio
Young
right
and St. Clair. You don't live too far from here, and there is a court.
Okay, I'll give my exact address. Right? No, but there's a court right over there. Yeah. And I just thought, okay, let me try this out. And I ended up loving it.
Everybody I know that's tried it out loves it.
It is not the same as tennis, because I grew up playing tennis.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
And tennis is way harder. Yeah. You have to be way faster. It's so much more explosive. And I hurt my knees every time I play tennis. But pickleball, you can kind of putz around the court, hit a little, wiffle ball around with that tiny little racket.
Do you have your own gear?
You know what? My girlfriend, she's a lovely gal. Her name's Josie. And she bought us off Amazon a backpack that has 4 pickleball paddles. So
the answer to the question, do you have your own gear, is yes.
I'm just trying to make myself seem cooler. I don't know what to do right now because you lampooned me with how lame pickleball was right out of the gate.
I did a little. That said, I have seen like the dudes on the court, like the big guys that look like they just came from the gym, ripping pickleball back and forth, and they're the guys that are, I'm sure, gonna be like, yeah, man, you don't understand. If you haven't played, you don't know, man. Pickleball goes to 10, and then we take it way past that, and we go to 15, man.
I know. Well, I'm not the guy in the gym that goes and plays pickleball. Right. I'm just like kind of a schlub out there.
But you happen to have a court near your house, and you're like, that court's calling to me, and I want to go have some fun with my lady.
And they sell bubblies over there, so I can get like a mango bubbly, and I'm just sipping that.
It all sounds very sophisticated and nice when you talk about it.
I wear my glasses when I play.
I think I'd feel differently about it if it was called something else.
I agree, actually.
I mean, the rumor is the guy named it after a dog or something like that.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, should we rebrand it? And start
I don't think you can. It's like the fastest growing sport in the world, North America, whatever. And I don't think they want to backpedal now.
All right.
You know what? That would be like Elon Musk renaming Twitter.
Okay.
Like what? Right? I mean, maybe not quite the same thing. As that. Okay. Why don't we take a little bit of a walk back, if you don't mind?
Sure.
How the hell did this start? How did music start for you? The first I heard of you was through the Rec Laws, was from Stu telling me about you.
Really?
Yeah.
Stu talked about me?
Yeah, sure he did.
That's nice.
How did it start for you? How did the music bug bite you? You're an Ontario guy.
Yep. Yeah. So I was... Well, I'll go way back. I was working at science camp, and I met this guy, Zubin Thacker, who's still like my mentor. He's the greatest guy ever, and he's Shawn Mendes' music director.
Okay.
So back in the day, he was playing for all sorts of people, and he was like, I'll give you guitar lessons. So I went over to his house to get guitar lessons, and we ended up just writing a song.
But see, here's the thing. I want to even break it down a little bit more than that.
Sure.
Who had put it into your head that you could play guitar, and where did the idea about giving? He was the guy?
No,
you had never played guitar before.
I went to this guy Xavier Rudd, It's this Australian guy, and he has all these didgeridoos, and he sets them up on stage, and he plays this drum set while he's playing the didgeridoo, while he's, kicking on a stomp box.
Yeah, he's one of the one-man band.
Yeah, exactly. And he still, he plays big shows and stuff still, but I went and saw a show in my hometown, Waterloo, and the way the room felt, I was like, this is the greatest thing. I should do that.
And how old were you?
I think I was 14.
Yeah, that's the age, right?
Yeah. And I was like, after that, went through high school, did some talent shows that reluctantly did some talent shows.
You were playing guitar and singing in front of your high school?
Yeah.
That takes some cojones.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do it. I tried to get out of it. The first talent show, I went to Miss Reed, my principal. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I can't.
What did you perform?
I played, this is funny, I played Jason Mraz, I'm Yours.
Okay, I get it. I'm sure the girls liked it.
At the time, that song was hot.
Jason Mraz, singer-songwriter, guy in a guitar, that's not a bad one to pick.
He's the greatest.
Yeah.
But, so I did that, and then Zubin was playing with Kira Isabella.
Okay.
So that's how I got into the country thing. And my parents are from Timmins, Ontario, so country thing was kind of
impossible to ignore.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that and played with her for years, and then
played with Kira.
Yeah. And then I met Stu, and we ended up living together.
Yeah.
And I started playing with them. They were nice enough to bring me along for that. And the only thing that got me into doing my own thing was that the pandemic happened, which is so weird. But I was going to be on the road with them
with the Rec Laws.
Yeah,
just playing guitar for them.
Yeah. They were playing shows, and I was like, all right, I'm in. This is so cool. And as soon as that happened, I was living in a house that had a little studio, a home studio in it, and we just started. I had been working on songs before that, but it was I didn't know when it was going to happen. So. It's strange, the pandemic thing, the way it stopped for me. And
it affected a lot of people in crazy ways. Obviously, there's a lot of ink that's been spilled on it. But I mean, I know like family members now who had kids who were going through who basically missed high school.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because of it, right? People that paid a lot of money for university who didn't have a university experience because of it.
Yeah, that's true. I never
right?
even thought
like
of that.
life was like, it didn't change that. Changed a little bit for me because I was still doing country stuff, but doing it from a home studio instead of a studio, not doing interviews in person. Well, I do still do a little bit of work from home, but no, I'd much rather be in a studio. I'd much rather be face to face with everybody.
We were talking earlier that like we've done a Zoom interview.
Yeah.
I think.
It's totally different.
It's way different.
It's totally different.
I like being in the room.
Of course. I mean, I've talked to, we just got back from the CMA Awards and interacting with 50 artists over the course of a couple of days, most of them who I've interviewed before. Mm-hmm. But until you meet them in person and have that connection in person. That's why the old school way, like what you're doing right now, of going and visiting, boots on the ground visits to radio stations is the way that you build relationships, the way that you foster those things.
Yeah, I agree. It's just
being
so
in a
much,
room.
It's so much
great.
better.
I'll take it. Like part of the deal is, hey, is it a plane ticket and and hotels and all of that stuff, or we can make a phone call?
Yeah,
and have an interview for free. You got to do both. You kind of have to do both in order to keep it going.
And phone calls, they scare me a little bit. I'm always worried that it's going to break up or something, and something's going to happen. Yeah, you never know.
Try and be the guy doing the live radio on the other side of one of those.
I bet.
When it doesn't go through. Yeah, yikes. All right, Nate. Let's talk about the last year.
Yeah,
the last year, and some of the highlights of 2024 for you.
Yeah, I mean, I got to play a lot of festivals this year, which was so friggin' cool. Can I say friggin' on the radio?
You sure can.
Oh,
as much as you want.
Well, friggin'. I got to play a lot of festivals, played Boots and Hearts this year, which was really great. Played all over Canada, and I have a new single out, Race to the Bottom, and I got to play that for the first time this whole year. And I don't know. There's been a great response to this song, which has been unreal. I also do a Miley Cyrus song during my set, which also gets a great response.
Dude, you are loading me up with pickleball and
I know, I got
Miley Cyrus and Jason Mraz. You're giving me too much ammo.
It's too much. Should I just stop talking?
No.
Is that it?
No.
Should I leave?
Here's the thing. Let's get right into Race to the Bottom, the new single. We are getting to hear it now, kind of for the first time. People who've seen you live, though, perform, over the last calendar year, have heard you play it live.
Yeah.
That's a great way to focus test a song.
100%.
Is to play it live, see the reaction, know if people are digging it. You're like, oh, this is going to be my radio single.
We do that with so many songs.
So smart.
Yeah, we try them out because it is a bit scary because I go into the show being like, well, no one knows this song.
Yeah.
But
do you let people know this is a new one? I hope you like it.
For some of them, I go, I wrote this the other day, or whatever, Try to be cool about it.
Yeah.
But I think for Race to the Bottom, we were just right out of the gate. We were trying it, and people just responded to it, and I love it. It's kind of my little sad boy song.
I'm all about a sad song, by the way.
Yeah, but it's got energy.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about it. And I like to think when I'm picking songs or writing songs or whatever, I like to think about live because not that it's the, be all end all. I want people to understand the song and relate to it, but it does make a difference when like this song is like super high energy, but it's still kind of a breakup song, which I'm no stranger to breakups.
High energy breakup is good.
Isn't that weird, though?
It is. No, it's a good juxtaposition. I've talked to a few guys over the last, I don't know, few years where they like the idea of doing a really, really like sad, happy, like taking a really happy theme and making it a little bit, bittersweet.
Yep.
So this is kind of flipping that. I like that a lot.
A little bit.
So what's the origin of the song?
So I write with this guy, Griffin Palmer. You probably know his music.
I think I've talked to Griffin. Yeah.
He's incredible. I write with him all the time, and he sent me this song like 3 years ago. And I was just a fan. I was like the biggest fan of this song.
Yeah.
And I was like, I already had a single out when I got sent that song. So I was like, okay, where do we fit it in? But I knew I always wanted to do it. And I don't know. This summer was just the time to do it. And I just feel like it was the right thing for me at the moment. It's kind of like the North Star of this whole next project. So
okay, so the response was good when people were hearing it for the first time. You could kind of see people engaging with it. What's the song all about?
Well, it's a breakup song, but it also is like NASCAR. That sounds insane to say, but I had this babysitter when I was like 7. And it was this guy who worked on our farm originally, and he got me into NASCAR when I was young. And so when I heard, okay, breakups, I know those, and and they suck. I hate them.
Expert.
Expert. I got my PhD in breakups, and then this NASCAR thing that related to my life. I grew up dirt biking and going to Monster Jam and all that, and so it was very much a part of my life. And I don't know, it just made so much sense when I heard it.
It spoke to you.
Yeah. 100%.
That's kind of, you're like, that song, I can already hear it as a song on the radio. Why don't I be the person that puts it on the radio?
Yeah. And it's funny, even with songs that happens, because I'll do like a demo of a song and then listen to it and see like, should this be a real thing or should it just go to the song Graveyard or whatever? And I do that with titles too. So I'll write titles down on my phone when I'm writing, as most people do, I think.
They do, yeah.
And then I look at them, and the ones that stick out to me, I pitch when we go, into a song.
Yeah.
So if me and you were writing, I'd go, oh, I got this title, I don't even know what it is, and I would see if you...
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
That's going to be the new anthem for pickleball.
We're taking the rest of the afternoon, and we're writing a song called Pickleball.
Hey, man, whatever. They need an anthem.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe.
They need something.
So it's an interesting... I always like song titles that paint a picture. Mm-hmm. And Race to the Bottom, before you've heard it, it already conjures ideas in your mind. It can paint some pictures for you, not knowing where you're going to take it. Yeah. So a title is good when it can do that, right? When it almost tells a story itself.
Those are the ones that jump out at you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get so nervous pitching titles in songwrites.
Because you get judged automatically.
Yeah. And sometimes people go, like, I was just in Nashville, like, 2.5 weeks ago or something, and I pitched a few titles, and people just do the blank stare. They go, this is good for radio that I'm just silent.
No, I think people know what blank stare is.
Yeah, it's just like, they just go, maybe we'll move on to the next thing. So I don't know. It's a very strange little game.
You know what? It's like putting yourself out there, though. That's what the art requires. You are required, like, even when the song is done, the production is done, the rehearsals have been done, you still have to go out there and sing in front of an audience. You have to bare your soul, ready for anything to happen, you to forget the words, mess up, the guitar, string to break, power to go out, all of those things. I mean, you have to put yourself out there. It's what the nature of the business is. Yeah. And certainly when you're collaborating, I mean, if you want to write songs by yourself, and then there's maybe it doesn't happen in the instant, but the minute that you share them with a producer, or your label, sitting down and like Keith Urban recently, famously talked about the fact that he had a full album done. I think it was called 615.
I saw you at that little thing.
Yeah, I talked to Keith about it. So that's right. Yeah, when Keith did the showcase. Yeah. But Keith talked about having an entire album done. He's sitting in the room with his label. This is Keith Urban, world megastar Keith Urban. Doesn't have anything to prove to anybody. And he's sitting there. He could tell from the reaction of the people in the room that it wasn't right. He knew it wasn't right. So even at Keith Urban's level, I know, you're putting yourself out there and you're vulnerable. He probably felt like you did when you put out like a song title that didn't stick. So it's just the nature of the business, man. You have to have thick skin.
And I kind of love that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's great that he sat there and thought and looked at people and people's reactions, because that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you're not getting a reaction from people, I like, if people aren't relating to it or gelling with it, it's I don't know, go back to the drawing board, but it's scary.
So are you confident in your gut when you first heard Griffin's version of Race to the Bottom? You're kind of like, now you're there, having toured it for the summer at the festivals, knowing that this is your radio single, you're like, I love the way this sounds.
Yeah. I knew right from the demo that I just had to put my voice on it. I loved it so much. And I think when something jumps out at you like that, you got it. Like, there's things I will be excited about, like demos that we have for a second, and then you got to keep listening to it, and if it doesn't really jump out at you, it's not the right thing.
When you are planning your set list, do you make sure to, if you're going to drop a new song on people that they haven't heard yet, do you lead with lightning in a bottle? So you're like, hey, I'm the lightning in a bottle guy, so this is also one from a guy that you kind of trust already?
You know what? I don't, and I should. I always play lightning last. Still to this day, I play
it's your top 10 hit, man. I get it. Like, it's
should
the song
I start with it? Do you want to make my new set this summer?
You what, I have talked to, and I'm not just, I talk to a lot of songwriters, a lot of people who perform all the time.
Yeah.
Did Lainey Wilson start with Hang Tight Honey on her latest tour? I know she's got a few hits, right? So it's a slightly different scenario. I don't think it's a false equivalency, though. I think if you go out and start with your hit, it's a flex. Rather than do the thing where you make everybody wait for the one song that they really know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's for you and your managers and stuff. They'll be like, that guy's an idiot. No. Look, if I was smart, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be like, I'd have an office in Nashville.
No, you know what? I'm starting with lightning from now on, and you're my new manager. Will you do that? Do you have time for that?
Of course.
Okay,
yeah. Of course.
No, you got a cardboard cutout of Taylor Swift.
$700 that thing cost.
No.
Easily.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's not even exaggeration. I heard that it cost $700.
Oh my God. Did you interview her?
I've interviewed Taylor 5 times, maybe four or five times.
Is she cool?
Not the last time I did it was 10 years ago. It was for 1989. But when I was at CMT, Taylor's great.
Wow.
I mean, she's Taylor's. She's a force of nature, man.
Tell me.
Yeah. No, she's actually no. Of course, she's incredible, and she's engaged in the interview, listens to everything. Yeah. She uses the thing that I do. I mean, I like to listen to people when I interview them and like take little things that they may get past people, and I grab onto those things, and then they're like, oh, you're really listening. It's kind of a little bit of a it's a good skill to pay attention to. A lot of people are they've already got their questions. They know what they're going to ask, and they know what they're doing. So they maybe miss a gem or something like that that's dropped. Taylor does that on the other side. Wow. So she'll like really, really pay attention to things that the interviewer is saying, so she can kind of get in there and have a little fun with them. So she's an amazing person to spend time with.
Oh my! Did you go to the show?
I did. I got to see. I got to see the Eras tour last Saturday.
Really?
Yeah. My wife's going again. I got to cut this part out tonight.
Oh, sorry.
No. Don't worry. I'll go through.
I asked the wrong question.
I'm now. No. It's fine. I'm now giving my editor too much work to do. Be like, fuck, shut up, McGuire, about the. No, let's do one more little thing on Race to the Bottom.
Sure, yeah.
Do you compare Race to the Bottom to anything? Does it fit into like a category of songs that you think people like are familiar with, like in the history of heartbreak songs or any of that stuff? Have you thought this is kind of like my thing because you know where it fits into your set live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compare it to other stuff.
Well, just like what kind of? I mean, are people can, you know what I like? I love a song that has a little message in it, but that also you can just not worry about the message and hum along to. That's what gets me about this track. I think it kind of fits into that space.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if I've ever thought about what I would compare it to at all, but I just think there's so many great breakup songs.
Yeah.
And I personally don't like to be going through a breakup and really, I love a good, very sad feeling song.
Yeah.
But I would rather be like, I'm going through a breakup, like hands in the air. I'm going to get through it.
I love it.
And
I love it.
That's kind of the vibe of the song.
It's like
a
instead
anthem.
of a sad funeral, it's a celebration of life.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's identical.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that again.
Yeah.
Because
you go ahead.
Okay, I will.
Because I've dealt with some of these things in the last little while, and it's one of the ways that people can deal with grief. Is if you want to go down, look, everybody deals with it in their own way.
Yeah.
If you need to go sad and go like with the sad organ and stuff like that, that's one thing. But celebration of life can be joyous.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
So this is what this is.
Life.
You're like getting upbeat about a breakup because sometimes, chances are, even if this breakup thing is a real thing in your life and you're writing about that or that's what you're connecting to while you're singing it on stage, it got you into the relationship that you're in now because you're not with the person and you're super happy.
I got out of it. And Josie, you would love Sweet Josie.
Yeah.
She is my new sweet lady. She actually drove me here today, even though I live right there. She goes, no, it's kind of foggy out. I'll just drive you.
It's foggy.
Yeah.
Maybe she just thinks you'll get lost.
She probably, well, she's right. I don't know my lefts and rights. I still have to do this trick, which this is radio, but you can't see. You know when you hold up
I do.
two L's?
Your left hand actually makes an L. I do know.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. What are you most excited about in 2025?
2025, I got new music, which is going to come out.
So Race to the Bottom is the first single from an upcoming EP, LP, whatever?
Yeah. We're going to do a whole project, and so I'm actually going back down to Nash to record 2 new songs that I'm really excited about, and then I'm just going to write for the next while. So we have a couple in the bank that we think are going to go on this next project as well. But I want to get better at songwriting.
Yeah,
that's the whole goal, and it's a tough little muscle. I don't know how to do it all that well, but I try my hardest.